Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. And what's up, bro? Well, I, well, I began to do my research. I was trying, I was trying to get to the bottom of why there were riots, what caused the riots in England, and then it seemed like it moved on to France. But it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting how life is. Now, all of us are human, and we all must have we all should have compassion. Dogs, animals have compassion. So we as human beings, we must have compassion. If the lowest of God's creations, as we look at it, if they can have compassion, then we should have compassion. I did my little investigation of what caused the riots in Europe, which actually started in England. And the thing is, I think I found out why. Now, by my finding out why they had the riots in England, then I have sympathy, but then I have questions. Every day, every day for the last 2 or 3 months, they kill children in Palestine every single day for the last 2 or 3 months at least. They kill children, not three girls, but 20, hundreds of children. They kill children in Palestine every day. And it's been going on ever since almost a year ago when Hamas made its attack. But you see, in life, there's always a reaction to every action. It's a, I think it's a law of physics that for every action, there is a reaction. If I hit the table, the reaction is my perceiving sound. Now that I've done my investigation as to what happened in Europe, I know when I was studying it over the internet and seeing what was going on, yet there was compassion in my heart because I'm a human being. There was compassion in my heart for what happened to those three girls in England. That was compassion because we, if we are just basic human beings, all of us have feelings and compassion, and we feel for the other human being. But you raise up, you raise up when three English girls were killed by a black youth, and you raise all kind of hell, and then you want to just blame it on the Muslims. You just want to find someone to focus your anger, to focus your blame on. So who do we blame? Who do we blame every day when Hundreds of children are massacred in Palestine almost every single day. Hundreds of children are blown away, shot and killed, stabbed in Palestine at this very moment. Three English girls killed by a black young man. And that caused the truth, that caused the truth to be revealed. So then the Nazis come out and say the Muslim this, and then the blacks, then they say it's the blacks, and then they say it's the immigrants. But you know, look at the irony of the politics, the irony of the sociology. The black guy who was a British citizen, the black guy who was a British citizen, killed three white girls who were British citizens. But then came the Nazis, and then came the get the Muslims out of Europe. The guy wasn't even a Muslim; he was black, a black young man. My question is why I'm going to follow this case. I want to know why that young black man, what young black guy, he okay, he looked from what I could see, he's a pretty tall dude. I would call him a young man. I'm interested in knowing. I'm going to follow this black young man goes into some kind of school and he murders, stabs to death three white girls in England. And then the Nazis come out and they said they want the Muslims out of Europe. They want the Muslims out of England. They want the black people out of England. And children are massacred every day in Palestine. How do we determine the value? How do we determine the value of a human life? What determines that? What determines this Palestinian child has no value, whereas this English child has much more value than the 500 children in Palestine? So a black guy, a black boy, a black man goes into school and he kills three white girls, babies. The next thing you want to know, the Nazis pop up and they want all the black people, all the Africans, all the Muslims to get out of England. What about the children in Palestine? What are we going to, what are we going to, three white girls, three children were killed by a black boy, a black man, a young black man in England. And that was the stimulus that started the riots in England. But what, again and again and again and again, I must ask, what about those 300 children that are being slaughtered in Palestine? Hundreds of young girls, young boys, young babies are slaughtered in Palestine. what about those human beings? What about those children? What about those people of God? Did He not create them for us to have compassion and love for? It's not saying that I'm interested. I'm going to follow this case with this black guy, black young man who killed those three white girls in England. I'm going to follow that. I want to know what caused this young black man to go into a school and kill three white girls. What provoked him? What made him do that? I will follow this. I'm going to follow this case because for every action there is a reaction. So I have to hold my, we have to be careful what we say, and we have to be careful what type of conclusions we come to. But then what happens is sometimes our conclusions are colored. Sometimes we draw our conclusions through the mechanism of coloration. Coloration. And sometimes color can blind us from the truth. Yes, it's a sad story. It's a very, I watched the broadcasts from England. And look, I too am a human being. I felt pity for those three white girls that were killed in that school by that young black man. I would like to know what caused him to do that. What what were the reasons? And I think we will find out in one way or the other. But can I not also have feelings and sympathy for those hundreds of babies that are being killed in Palestine every day? Oh, my heart rings out. My heart rings out. But we're all human and we all have our views. But I don't think that uh, just because a black young man kills three white girls, that England should sit home should tell all the Africans to leave Europe to have those type of demonstrations. You know, even in America, look at all the times that youth have gone into schools and killed children. Um, I don't know how many black youth have done it, but there are many cases. I can't think of all the cases when a young man goes into a school and massacres children. Several cases. I can't. It, we can. You do your own investigations. That's that's not uncommon. But I guess when those young men who went into the schools in the U.S., these are white boys, and they went into white schools and killed whatever what they killed in school. The people that they killed, they could have been white, black, Mexican, or whatever. But there were not riots that told the whites that they should go back to Europe. There were no riots out of all the mass killings they have had in the U.S. No group of people raised up and said that young man should be sent back to Europe. You see the inequalities that are existing on Earth. I will follow the case in England. What I would like to do, I would like to know what caused this black boy. What happened? What made him do that? I'm interested in, I'm interested in finding out what had the sociological setting, the political setting, what created that monster, that monster. But what created the monster that kills children every day in Palestine? Not three, 300, 300, and that's just a small number. Who riots? Who destroys? Who causes destruction of those 300 or more children that are killed in Palestine almost on a daily basis? So, life is so complex, and sometimes it can be so cruel. And it's interesting, complex, cruel, and compassion. They all start with the alphabet C. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happened to this young black man prior to his going into that school to kill babies, white babies. You see what I'm saying? Why would a country, why would the world, why would humanity allow those Palestinian children to be murdered like they are murdered every day? Not three, not three, 300 or more are massacred. Must we have a riot in Palestine to say that the Jews should be sent back to Germany? Why couldn't they have taken a part of Germany and given it to those Jews? Well, it was it was the Germans who did all that to the Jews. Why couldn't they have taken a section of Germany and given it to those Jews who had been baked in ovens? Why did they have to go to Palestine and take these people's land and put those Jews there? It was the Germans who committed the crime. The Palestinians were just existing. This is Musa Matt Beecham Jr. signing off on Earth.